A very good afternoon to you, and welcome to the inaugural edition for 2025 of the IU Indy Coaches Show. Same location in terms of network, that being the ISC Sports Network. However, after 2 successful years at Back 9, we are on campus. Now, I still kind of refer to this as like the old hotel that is on campus. This is now the dorm. We are kind of in the main concourse. There's a very packed crowd around us because it is noontime and students are like hungry and want to go get something to eat. And so we get a lot of eyeballs that are watching us here kind of behind the camera. My name is Greg Rakestraw, joined by the man that is now in his third year as Director of Athletics at IU Indianapolis. It is Luke Bosso. Our first of 12 shows on ISC will come to on a regular basis Wednesdays at noon. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Good, Greg. How are you?
I'm good. I thought we started off the show with a good omen. We had a fire drill right before we were scheduled to start, so hence kind of the odd timing of starting a show around 12:05 on a Wednesday afternoon. How is this year starting off for you and your teams?
Yeah, starting off great. It's great to have the students back on campus. Great to have the teams back here. Obviously had a big result at Butler on Monday night for our men's soccer team. Our volleyball team had an immaculate weekend, 9-0 in 3 games, which couldn't be happier about that. And women's soccer under Angela Berry White's starting to come into form. So really excited, and leading into the fall sports, we expect to be competitive in everything, and it's going to be fun.
There always is going to be a little more attention on men's basketball, and you have that twofold. A, you have a new coach, and B, you have a new building that is in progress. We're going to talk to Ben Howlett coming up in a matter of moments. How has Ben doing so far? Obviously knowing haven't played a game yet, but what are you seeing so far?
Yeah, the thing I've learned about this in year 3 is everybody is really good at this time, right?
Right.
And or they're really bad depending on the day. But really excited what we've seen so far in Ben. I've followed Coach and the system since I've gotten here to IU Indy and done some research on what they've been doing. Obviously, 80% plus win percentage is fantastic. Excited for the 4 guys from Indy that we have on the team, and really excited to see a system at work. I joked yesterday that at one time we had the fastest track in the world. We continue to have the fastest pool in the world, and we're going to have the fastest offense in the world once basketball season starts, and couldn't be more excited for that.
It is a city that respects speed, and so it is well. And again, for those who don't follow, Ben will be up next, and we'll explain, but if they're getting to 100, they're just getting started from a scoring standpoint. His team's at West Liberty in the Division II level. Always a joy to watch and the devil to play, and that is exactly what he hopes to bring to IU Indy. So that is the roster construction, the coaching staff construction. Let's talk about the building construction. This has been talked about for seemingly more than one generation. Cue the meme, it's happening.
Yes.
How is construction coming along?
Yeah, we have 4 corners now, which is great. A lot of steel on the site. You don't realize how much you care about weather until you start building a basketball venue. It's going well. I mean, we're on track to be open next fall. Every day when we come on campus, we see everything that's going on. Great partners at Wilhelm, great partners on campus. And, I think the thing for us, Greg, is we're really excited about the Jaguars being in there, but I was just talking to our new Vice Chancellor of Enrollment Management about doing new student events in there, having community events in there. Hopefully, the people, our neighbors, the NCAA and National High School Federation will want to do their events there. This is another great community asset for the Sports Corp to use when they go out and win events, and we're excited to have it open, and it's going to be state-of-the-art, and we're going to be scoring a lot of points in there, both on the men's and women's side.
All right, timeline. I think the hope was that volleyball could play there in the fall. I realize that's 12 months away. I realize weather, et cetera, things change. What does it look like in terms of that being available to student athletes for events and for all your teams to be housed under one roof?
Yeah, so there's a couple things at play, right? There's offices, there's moves, there's all different things. The idea with all of us will be in there in fall. Whether it's starting the volleyball season in the jungle, then moving over there. November 2nd or 3rd, whenever college basketball opens next year, one of our teams will be playing in the building. Volleyball season will still be going on. I think we'll probably see how we're playing. But my hope is that we have men's and women's college basketball there, and then the Horizon League volleyball tournament in the new building next year. So no pressure to our volleyball team to be the number 1 seed.
All right, exactly. And they have to do that to host. But so far, so good, as the Jags just went down to Charleston, South Carolina. And again, as Luke alluded to, didn't just win 3 matches, won all of them 3-0. Andrew Kroger now in his second season as the third season? Third season as the full-time head coach. Obviously, tremendous results to start the year for the Jaguars.
Yes, couldn't be more excited with how they started. Actually, have a tough tournament this weekend, but it was you got to win the games you're supposed to win, which we did. Jillian Tippmann had a great first tournament. Grace Parika and Morgan Ostrowski also played really well, and we're excited for the team. I mean, I told them all, Greg. My wife and I for the last several years have taken a vacation on what would be the weekend of the Horizon League tournament in volleyball, and this year we didn't because I expect to be playing for the Horizon League championship championship when volleyball season's there. And I think the team has embraced that, and they're going to be really excited about the opportunity to take on the Horizon League.
By the way, that is the weekend before Thanksgiving. That has been at Wright State the last couple of years, and like all Horizon League championships, you can watch it on ESPN Plus. And Grace Perica was named the Horizon League Player of the Week after IU Indy's successful trip to Charleston. So you led off the conversation about the great result. I had the pleasure of being on the call of said match. IU Indy beat Butler in men's soccer for the first time in 14 years, and just for the third time in the program's two shared histories. We're going to talk to Sid Van Druenen at the tail end of the program. I know you're in attendance. You and I are both hashtag Midtown guys, so it's kind of like a quasi-home game for us over at the Selig Bowl. That had to make you all smiles on Monday night.
It's amazing. I mean, like the one thing I figured out in this job is winning's hard. And so you celebrate every win. You celebrate it. But when you do it in your home city against the other institution in your home city, it feels special. You mentioned first time since 2011. And I think it talks about what Sid's building here. Probably in our first year here, we didn't have quite the same talent level, and now he's building great talent. We expect the men's team to be competitive in the Horizon League, but the Horizon League is a competitive league when it comes to soccer. But anytime you can get a win in your home city or home state, we're going to celebrate it, and boy, did we.
All right, so women's soccer, good win at Indiana State last week, 3-0. Still a bit of a work in progress after a wonderful run for Chris Johnson, who literally is off camera checking things out here after 20-plus years as the head coach of the IUPUI, now IU Indy Women's Soccer Program. A familiar name to both of us, Angela Berry-White, after winning a state championship and winning a lot as the head coach for Buff. She clearly has the credentials for the job. Still some learning that is going on here, but frankly, your concern is being ready for Horizon League play, which is just a couple of weeks away. How's Angela growing into the job so far?
Yeah, first, huge shoes to fill in Chris, and that's why we brought Chris on as our staff, because we know which value he has. But, we're excited for what we've seen from Angela and the team. Obviously, veteran team, we should be competitive. I think the games we lost early were it's a little bit different style, a little bit different adjustment with the coach. But, the last 4 games especially played really well. Backup goalie on Sunday versus Ball State, Arissa North, who's a senior, who's had back-to-back great games, Horizon League Player of the Week in soccer. So excited now. As we talked off camera, we gotta finish the last 18 yards. We got to put the ball in the back of the net, and I think we all know, as being sports people, once that first or second one comes, we're going to score a lot of points. And to your point, we just have to be on the rise when we get to the Horizon League, and confident in the team, confident in our two captains, Emma Fry and Caitlin Smith, to get the team ready to go into Horizon League play and get some wins.
And of course, individual sports like golf and tennis do have fall competitions, but most of their stuff will happen in the spring from a team standpoint, as far as a Horizon League championship standpoint. So there you go, kind of the 30,000-foot view as to the sports that are taking place right now at IU Indianapolis. One of the things that you understood the job when you got it was to help build the brand locally, was to help develop kind of more sponsors and bring more brand awareness, not just to IU Indy, but have better partnerships with great business support in central Indiana. You have clearly succeeded at that. How is that progress coming along for you in year 3?
Yeah, it's great. We also have cross country. Both finished second at men's and strong in women's. Justin Amberg is our interim coach now. But on the sponsorship side, really excited. Just re-upped with KeyBank. Brought in 4 dealers of Indiana on top of 30 plus other sponsors. The community is loving, as we know, we're a sports community. It's loving what we're doing here. We're getting a lot of business leaders on campus. And I think we're just continuing to tell the brand and tell the story. And once we figured out that this is the institution as well as the department is a great commodity, and we have this great online asset, or great asset coming online next year in the arena, it's great. Now we've got to continue to grow it, and obviously we have to do what we need to do on the field of play and win games and show the value. But you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who has partnered with us so far that hasn't seen the value one way or another.
And again, Luke hit on 2 of the 3 keystone sponsors of this program. So thank you to KeyBank, thank you to Ford, and I will throw in BSN Sports for their great results and work with IU Indy Athletics. IUIndyJags.com always has more information. Thanks for the time, my friend.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Luke Bosso, Director of Athletics at IU Indianapolis. Men's basketball coach Ben Howlett will join us next. Again, we are live in University Hall. Again, what used to be the hotel in the middle of campus now is the main dormitory on campus. And again, we have a captive audience because lunch is literally happening right behind us. Back with more in a moment on ISC.
Odds are you'll never need an open craniotomy from our highly skilled neurosurgeons or treatment for medullary thyroid cancer. Odds are your child will never need a heart transplant. And you might never need screening for genetically inherited high cholesterol. But if you do, trust the healthcare system 9 out of 10 Indiana doctors have chosen for their patients' care. Indiana University Health, no matter the odds.
We gon' push it to the limit, we gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. It's together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. It's together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever.
This is Molly. She loves road trips, hikes, her dog Max, and cars that fit her lifestyle. Like this cool new ride that she got with help from Indiana Members Credit Union at a great low rate. And for when she's on the go, IMCU makes it easy for her to pay from anywhere thanks to their digital banking. Looks like Molly is really getting the max from her credit union.
Again, welcome back to the inaugural edition of season number 3 of the IU Indy Coaches Show here on the ISC Sports Network. Our new on-campus location, and frankly, our setup today is kind of temporary. We will be in what is kind of known as the old Chancellor's Restaurant in a couple of weeks. It's going to be like the IU Indy Sports Bar, for lack of a better term. When we reconvene on September the 17th, that is where we will be. Thanks to the great staff from the ISC Sports Network, Brant McCoskey, Charlie Hammock, and Vince Morales. Thanks to Ed Holdaway, thanks to Lauren, thanks to Emily, those behind the scenes with IU Indy Athletics as well. The gentleman to my right is the brand new men's basketball coach at IU Indianapolis, and Ben Howlett, who again brings a phenomenally exciting style from West Liberty in the Division II ranks, and now gets his chance to run the system here at the Division I level. You've now been on the job for about 3.5 months. If I kind of have my date properly on that, how was your summer in Indianapolis?
It was good.
Yeah.
I got to lay the land a little bit, constructed an entire roster probably within 2 months, and hired a staff of 5 assistant coaches. And I got a little routine I'm in the morning where I'll run around the city of Indianapolis and try to figure things out. But it's been a good 3 months, and the guys are working hard, so it's gone really well.
I would imagine it might be a slight culture shock from West Liberty University to having a campus in the middle of downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah, at West Liberty, we were about as rural as you could get. No stoplights, $1 general, and 1 tavern. That's all we had. And then here in Indianapolis, obviously, it's got everything you need. It's a basketball city. We're in a basketball state, and really excited to be here.
Ben, in one sense, it is easier to flip a roster and to kind of recreate, given the fluidity these days of college athletics. But at the same time, you were 2 months behind what that normal transition schedule was like. What was it like constructing a roster in a much reduced amount of time?
Yeah, I think I had the benefit of I was privileged enough to bring our players with me from West Lib. So 4 of my guys from West Liberty came over, and they're playing here. And then I had 2 recruits that were committed to West Liberty that also wanted to make the jump. So we got 6 off the bat there, and then really attacked the transfer portal. Even the Division II ranks, we attacked that level and got some good players. So I think, you hear a lot of people gripe about the transfer portal, but I go the other route, and if you do get a job late, there's still a lot of availability and players to be had, and that's exactly what we did.
You don't care where the players are from, but for our viewing audience, there are a handful of names that are going to be familiar in terms of kids that are local. Micah Davis from Franklin, it was at Eastern Kentucky. Jackson Edwards from a state champ 3 years ago at Cathedral. McGuire Mitchell, who was recruited to come here and elected to stay when he kind of saw the style that you will play. Let's kind of talk about those guys first. What sort of impact do these guys have as first-year players in your program?
I'm pleasantly surprised with all those guys. And Jackson and Micah, AJ and McGuire, all those guys have already, made an indent in our program, and all of, kind of made their own splash and still are learning the system. And that's kind of where I expected it to be. We're going to have good days and bad days, but pleasantly surprised with those guys, and I think 3 of them are going to get meaningful minutes for us this year.
And by the way, today is AJ's 22nd birthday, so happy birthday, AJ Howlett. And doesn't hurt you when you went to college, both mom and dad. So hello to the entire Howlett family there. All right, I've referenced the system. You've referenced the system. You have a series of workouts for high school prospects a week or 2 ago on campus. They all get a T-shirt that says the system. Without giving away trade secrets, give me the kind of the 30,000-foot view. What's the system?
The system is to get guys playing harder than they think they can play.
Yeah.
And I think you can overcome lack of size, lack of skill, lack of speed if you just get guys brainwashed into playing really hard. And if you look at what we've done, at the Division II level, it's an attractive style play where we're going to play, defensively 94 feet. We're not going to let them, try and catch the ball in bounds. We're going to run traps. We're going to chase. And then offensively, we're not going to pigeonhole guys into positions. We're going to give guys the freedom to play, and we're not going to call set plays every time down the floor. So it's very fan-friendly. It is up-tempo. We score a lot of points. We force a lot of turnovers. So I think our fan base is really going to like it.
And one of the things that strikes me about it, too, is you're going to play 10 guys. There's going to be plenty of minutes for a lot of those guys on your roster, correct?
Maybe more. We'll play maybe more than 10.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of our system is if you do it the right way, there's no way you can play more than 34 minutes per game. It's impossible because we're trying to play so hard. So it is a system where guys are able to get in the game, and whether it's a 15-minute clip, 17-minute clip, 24-minute clip, they're all valuable. All those minutes are valuable. And the fun part for me as a coach with our system is if 5 guys are doing it, it's going to work. If 4 guys are doing it and 1 guy isn't doing it, it's not going to work. So we got to get everyone on the same page, and that's kind of where we're at right now in the process.
For a lot of years, there was kind of this ceiling on guys making the jump that are really good coaches from D2 to D1. Guys like Josh Schertz, Ben McCollum have kind of knocked that down. Any concern in your mind about your system working at the Division II level and it translating to Division I?
No, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine, and as a coaching staff and as a coach, we don't put a number on how many wins we should have. We want to put a product on the floor that's different than anyone else. And I think if we get guys bought into what we're doing and brainwash them into playing harder, the system's going to work. And again, it's going to be very friendly.
I asked Luke about this in the last segment. What's it like coming to a place where you can literally see the new facility being built? What does that do to your program next year and beyond?
It's awesome. It's a big recruiting tool for us. It's the first thing we talk about when we get these recruits on campus. It's the last thing we talk about before they leave. It's going to be a game changer for us. And, I'm one of those guys. I'll watch the live cam on the construction. I'll watch the live cam at night when I'm not here at IU Indy. And we can't wait to get started in there and start playing.
All right. Your thoughts on the Horizon League? Oakland won it 2 years ago. Robert Morris won it for the first time. There's been a good amount of parity in the league over the last few years. Just quick thoughts about your 10 teams you'll face in league play.
Yeah, I've had the benefit of watching pretty much every team on film,
Yeah.
Multiple games, and I think it's a very physical league. I think every coach kind of has their niche in the way they play. You might see zone, you might see, 3/4 pressing, you might see man-to-man. So I think every coach has their niche, and it's really good basketball. And obviously, at my last institution, you could take some games off and you're still going to win. If you take a game off in this league, you're going to lose. And that's why we, as coaches, need to make sure our guys are ready to play each and every night.
Season opens November 3rd for the Jaguars. Your first chance to see them on campus. Long Island comes here on Thursday, November the 6th. 6:30 tip-off, more or less 6:30 tip-off for most of the weeknight games. 2 o'clock starts for the games that will take place on Saturday afternoon. Every game on ESPN Plus, and there may be some other outlets that will be available. In fact, games are going to radio this year, too, which is great to have that back as well. Ben, good to see you again, and welcome to Indianapolis.
Thank you very much for having me.
Ben Howlett, new men's basketball coach at IU Indy. We talked with Luke Bosso last segment, and everybody's all smiles about a 1-0 soccer victory against Butler on Monday night. Head coach Sid Van Druenen joins us next as we wrap up this edition of the show. Again, we're brought to you by BSN Sports, KeyBank, and Ford, and you are watching the IU Indy Coaches Show live on campus. You're doing so on ISC.
Odds are you'll never need an open craniotomy from our highly skilled neurosurgeons or treatment for medullary thyroid cancer. odds are your child will never need a heart transplant. And you might never need screening for genetically inherited high cholesterol. But if you do, trust the healthcare system 9 out of 10 Indiana doctors have chosen for their patients' care. Indiana University Health, no matter the odds.
We gon' push it to the limit, we gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. It's together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. It's together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever.
This is Molly. She loves road trips, hikes, her dog Max, and cars that fit her lifestyle, like this cool new ride that she got with help from Indiana Members Credit Union at a great low rate. And for when she's on the go, IMCU makes it easy for her to pay from anywhere thanks to their digital banking. Looks like Molly is really getting the max from her credit union.
Welcome back for a final time on this first installment of 12 this year on the IU Indy Coaches Show. Again, thanks to our friends at BSN Sports, KeyBank, and Ford for their sponsorship of the program. Thank you, Charlie Hammock. Thank you, Brant McCoskey. Thank you, Vince Morales, our production crew behind the scenes. Thanks to Luke and Emily and Ed and Lauren, everybody involved with IU Indy Athletics. On Monday night, Sid Van Druenen's squad, after getting a really good result at Notre Dame last week in a 0-0 draw, got more than a result. They got a win, 1-0 against Paul Snape and Butler on Monday. First win for the Jaguars against Butler since 2011. Men's head coach Sid Van Druenen joins us now. Congrats, buddy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just obviously you're happy with the end result. Your thoughts on what it took to get there on Monday night?
I mean, it's been a roller coaster of emotions the last couple of weeks. I think we had a big reality check, feet back on the ground after the Louisville game. And we responded the way I hoped we would against Butler. And I think for 30 minutes, 35 minutes of that first half, we were the better team. We had a lot of the ball. I think we were able to showcase what we want to do and who we want to be. And then the lesson learned from that game is we have to be able to do that when opponents up the pressure, because I think that's what Butler did. And for 50 minutes in that second half, we were pinned in. But no, man, I think the guys, I mean, we have shown the past 2 years that we can be competitive against anybody, and then I'm happy that we continue that trend.
To Sid's point, last year, draw against St. Louis, then win and won in Akron. And that Louisville match the coach is referring to, 4-0 loss to the Cardinals, but it was 1-0 before a red card came in and kind of changed the dynamic of that match. When you get to play and be competitive or win against programs, the ones I just rattled off, what does that do for you in recruiting going forward?
It helps, right? I mean, I think the reason we schedule those teams is because that also helps with recruiting, right? Everybody wants to play against the best, so that helps. Step two is, can we be competitive? And I think, I mean, the texts we get from kids that we're recruiting, right, after we get a result shows that they're keeping an eye on it. So it's I think it's a big step for us as a program to be able to compete against anybody.
Well, let's talk about the young man that got the goal for you. He is your lone goal scorer so far this year. Yuri Kaiser came up from the Division II ranks from Coker in South Carolina.
Yep.
How'd you track him down, and what has he done for you so far this year?
He's not that young, is he? He's the oldest guy on the squad, and the guys call him Gramps. But he just brings that experience. I mean, we've learned a lot from last year, and it was important for us to try to find players in those 10 positions for us that are mature, experienced, crafty, creative, and so far he's definitely fulfilled that role. But with that as well, his attitude, his work rate, it's just been phenomenal. So he's a big addition for us for sure.
On the flip side, Cameron Mau was in your program, but was more of a backup this year. He won kind of the keeper competition, and he's played very well so far. Had a couple of really big saves for you against Butler. Tell me about Cam.
Yeah, Cam has always been just a phenomenal person, hard worker. It's never been about his ability as a goalkeeper. Cam had to understand the two things that are the most important thing for goalkeeping, and it is one, don't be the reason why we concede goals, and two, just save the ones you can save, and understand that you're going to concede a goal here or there, and that's perfectly fine. And I think he needed that period last year. Big thanks to goalkeeper coach Quinn to continue to work with him. And he is now where we need him to be, and he's been great for us.
And the two young men that I reference are both international products now. Again, both were at another school in the States before then coming to IU Indy. And you can tell by Sid's background, is a little international to him as well. It's simply part of a lot of Division I sports, especially the sport of soccer. What is the international recruiting process like for you to get to kids to come to this downtown campus?
Honestly, it's easy because of the attraction, right?
Yeah.
The city. We try to go after international guys that also care about the academics, so that because that's a big traction, I think, for us at IU Indy. And international guys have been successful in mid-majors across the country, so they also see it as a pathway, maybe a secondary pathway to try to go pro. So it's definitely a big part of what we want to do, but they have to be significantly better or more mature than the domestic recruit, because I also think we want to recruit in the state and around the city of Indianapolis. And we had 3 guys from Indianapolis start last night or 2 nights ago against Butler. So it's not we will never go fully international,
right,
because I think you want that local connection. But when we go for the best guy available and finding that experience at the Division II level, maybe at some other schools, the grind, they understand what it takes to compete at the highest level, is just, it makes a difference.
Carmelin Nobles will represent in IU Indy starting lineup on Monday night as well. All right, so with that, you got a couple of more non-conference games. You go to Southern Indiana. You finally get to have a home game next Tuesday against Northern Illinois.
Yeah.
But then it is league play against Wright State. And again, in the Horizon League, it all comes down to, can you make that top 6 to get into the conference tournament? Can you win 2 or 3 matches to get to the NCAAs? So I guess just your thoughts, big picture, as to how the Horizon League is shaping up this year.
I mean, I think you said it on the broadcast. It's impossible to predict.
Yeah.
A lot of teams are having very good results, either winning or very close margins, losing by a goal. So I think it's going to be an absolute battle. We're worried about us and our process, and then trying to get ready for those games. We learned lessons from last year. I think we're a better squad. We're a more mature squad, and we just have to make sure that we carry in what we're currently doing into conference play. But if you ask me who the favorite is to win, I have no idea. And if you ask me, do we have any teams that are not competitive? No. Everybody, it's you can throw a coin up in the air, no clue.
1 through 10, the margin is like this.
Yeah.
And to let people behind the scenes, we at ISC are lucky enough to produce 3 championships for the Horizon League every year. And I can kind of tell you, hey, most years women's soccer is going to be in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
In volleyball, Luke and company are excited about the future of the volleyball program and think, hey, we can get to host some volleyball here. The last couple of years, it's been Wright State. In the men's, I have no idea.
No,
it isn't. Throw it at a dartboard. You'll see it start to play out.
It's actually different this year. So actually, we've changed the
semifinals,
format.
right? Yep.
Yeah. So
correct.
the highest seed will always host.
So there is a good chance that hopefully Jaguars have 2 home games on Wednesday the 12th and Saturday the 15th, meaning they got the bye and avoided the opening round. You can catch IU Indy and Wright State on ESPN+. I'm looking to have the call. That is a week from Saturday, September the 13th at 5 o'clock. Congrats on the win, my friend.
Thank you.
I'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Sid Van Druenen capping us off for, again, our first installment. We are back in 2 weeks. Again, we'll be literally just up the hall. We'll have a new set, a new location, but the same great content. Hopefully talking about great IU Indy wins, both on the classroom, on the court, or on the pitch, as was the case for Sid and his team on Monday night. For our entire ISC crew behind the scenes, this is Greg Rakestraw. Thanks for joining us on ISC.
Odds are you'll never need an open craniotomy from our highly skilled neurosurgeons, or treatment for medullary thyroid cancer. Odds are your child will never need a heart transplant, and you might never need screening for genetically inherited high cholesterol. But if you do, trust the healthcare system 9 out of 10 Indiana doctors have chosen for their patients' care. Indiana University Health, no matter the odds.
We gon' push it to the limit, we gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, when we ride, we can ride together. So together we ride, certified. It's together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side, to the finish. Down the ride forever, we gon' ride. We gon' ride together, so together we ride. Certified, it's together we rise. We gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side, to the finish. Down the ride forever.
This is Molly. She loves road trips, hikes, her dog Max, and cars that fit her lifestyle, like this cool new ride that she got with help from Indiana Members Credit Union at a great low rate. And for when she's on the go, IMCU makes it easy for her to pay from anywhere thanks to their digital banking. Looks like Molly is really getting the max from her credit union.